a Sunday afternoon as the Aldermore Reading Rockets look to keep up the pressure on the league-leading Newcastle Knights and go back joint top with them come the end of this game. Their opponents today are the Essex Rebels, a team in good form in the playoff hunt, but will be short-handed today as their leading scorer, Miles Brown, is absent due to personal reasons. So it'll be a very short-handed Essex Rebels team in the scoring charts. However, a very talented team awaits the Rockets here today. Good afternoon, John Hobbs alongside Charlie Haynes. And this should be a very intriguing contest, but Miles Brown out of the Essex Rebels team, that is a huge factor. And also Kyron Martin is not playing either today for the same reasons.
Hello, John. Thank you, and afternoon, everybody listening at home. Yes, of course, big losses for the Essex Rebels today, and the question is, who's going to step up? Very rarely, when you're missing a couple of your main guys, do you not have a player or two step up and make an impact? I'm looking forward to seeing who from the Essex Rebels will be that player.
So the starting fives, you can see it on your screen right there. For the Reading Rockets, it'll be Jack Sportknight, Zane Portman, Victor Olarerin, Tyler Sangu, and Cooper Creek. For the Rebels, Ben Winter, Tyrese Hudson, Daniel Johnson-Thompson, Remy Uda, and Tom Child. Tom Child actually second in scoring for the Rebels, 14.8 a game. And a lot of the offensive burden will be on that veteran point guard's shoulders today.
Absolutely, John, I totally agree, and you can only imagine that a lot of this Reading Rockets huddle just before the game starts is about trying to limit his output early and see if they can make the others, the guys that maybe don't normally get to the double digits in points, can you make them be the ones that have to make the big plays early in the game?
Our three officials assigned this contest, our crew chief, Ed Udansky, umpires Lewis Walker-Everton and Ian Lester. As we get set for tip-off here at the Valley, it's another bumper crowd, as always. As we get set for tip-off. Of course, the Newcastle Knights winning yesterday in Derby, a narrow win for them. So the pressure back on the Aldermore Reading Rockets here today. Of course, both teams incredibly slipped up last week. Of course, the Knights losing to Nottingham on that Friday night. The stage was set, you'd think, for Reading to go overall top, but they slipped up at Worthing on Sunday in a very physical contest that was decided in the final seconds. A real battle on the south coast. But that was Reading's only their second loss of the season. So for them, it's all about bouncing back, something they're not familiar with really this season.
Absolutely, and it's the point that we always make, that the beautiful thing about BCB basketball is any team can beat any other team, and I think that's been proven in the last couple of weeks. Always competitive games and always a reason for the Loddon Valley crowd to be as close to sold out as we are today, because every game is an exciting one.
Speaking of the Thunder, they're in action in the other game taking place. That'll be at 5 p.m. They take on the Bristol Hurricanes. But it's all about what's happening here at the Valley, as Tyler Sangu and Daniel Johnson-Thompson will jump it up to start this contest. Reading in black, Essex in red. And this game is underway. And here is Jack Sportknight getting the first possession underway for the Rockets. Child playing defense on Sportknight. Looking for Olarerin at the top. Finds Nasangu instead. That'll be a physical encounter between them and him and Johnson-Thompson today. And Olarerin doesn't get the ball to flow. Ball is loose. Portman gets it as the ball was almost batted around like a hot potato.
Great hustle from the Reading early here, getting after offensive opportunities to have second and third shots in an offense.
Hudson. Child to Johnson-Thompson. Winter collects. Child, a three is good.
And is that the player to step up? As you said, always a good scorer, but what a make that is to start the game. First shot for him, first bucket.
He was here 2 hours before tip-off. Actually watched the wheelchair basketball game that was on before this one. As Porman drives out and kicks it out to Creek, a three. No good. O'Leary on the follow.
Really smart from Reading, trying to post up Zane Porman early in the game. You see Victor O'Leary now giving Child no space to catch the ball.
Winter. As Hudson collects it. O'Leary playing defense on Remy Uda, and here he is on the ball. Child swings it around. Hudson now going inside. Putting the footwork, moves on Creek and somehow gets it to fall.
Yeah, really nice finish. Little left hand. Cooper Creek, good job to avoid fouling.
Porman inside. Porman just about gets it to fall.
And that's twice they've looked to try and isolate Ben Winter there and try and make him defend the little bit bigger and stronger Porman.
Child. Averaging a shade under 15 points a game. And his pass, well, it finds Johnson Thompson eventually. Hudson travels with it. And Essex, as you said at the top, you really need a scoring output from someone here today. Remy Uda, another player that can put that stamp on the game. As Miles Brown, you're talking 24 points a game out. As Porman drives to the basket, kicks it out to Creek. O'Leary in a catch and shoot.
And you know Victor O'Leary loves to play his old side, the Essex Rebels. We all remember that big game last season in NBL Division 1.
Child, as the Rockets now take a 4-point cushion early doors here at the Valley. Uda. Johnson Thompson. Bit of a mismatch here with O'Leary. They'll look to go inside, the double team. Uda a three, no. Ball is loose, Johnson Thompson collects. And Essex reset. 8 to shoot. Johnson Thompson over Creek. Long rebounded Porman. Here comes Borknight. Great pace to this game. As Borknight slows it down instead. And here is Nasangu. And that'll be that'll be an offensive foul, I believe. Yes, it is.
Yeah, just good take from Daniel Johnson Thompson. Just gets his feet set, makes sure contact's right in the middle of his chest. Ty Nasangu doesn't try and work around him, but instead goes right through him. Offensive foul. Good call.
Remy Uda, of course, spent last season at the London Lions in the SLB. Here is Winter. Child lobs it up, and Nasangu with good hands there as Uda was going to dunk. 3 to shoot. Essex got to get a move on. Turnover instead, and Borknight in a straitjacket finds O'Leary. Creek gives it up. Porman, lovely extra pass and the flush from Nasangu.
A lovely little passing maneuver there from the Rockets. Inside to Creek, dumps off to Zane, dumps off to Ty Nasangu, and there's our first flight of the evening on Air Nasangu.
5 of 8 to start. The Rockets from the field. Winter thought about it. Hudson. Well, they're passing around the perimeter from the Rebels. They do love to shoot from downtown as Uda drives inside.
Impressive from Uda so far this game. Found a couple of times an opportunity to be open on the three-point line and doing a good job of trying to find opportunities to play on drives and back cuts. Good start from him.
Borknight, a three. And that's off the back iron, gets his own rebound. O'Leary is open, gets it. But Johnson Thompson clacks him down. O'Leary a three, short. And Nasangu again, the offensive board and a foul.
That's just what you want to see from your big man, getting after the boards, not passing out when he's under the basket, but instead absorbing contact, finishing strong, and one.
Ty Nasangu going to the line for the first time today, and the Rockets have a 13-7 lead, nearing the halfway point of this game. Ty Nasangu, 53% from the foul line this season. grazes the rim. And straight away, Portman gets the offensive board and the foul. And the foul has been called, I believe that was on Hudson, as a substitution coming in for the Rebels as Anthony Edieta Mendez comes in. Tyrese Hudson takes a break. Creek. Borknight. Shot clock now in single figures for the Rockets. Borknight down Main Street, kicks it out. Olaire in a three. And the ball is loose and comes to the Rebels, and Winter now all alone, but good tracking back from Olaire, and he gets the necessary stop. Winter hounded by three Reading players, and a whistle has gone. And I think that will be on Zane Portman, it is, and that'll be his first foul.
Outstanding from Olaire to hustle back. Really nice play as well between Child and Winter to make sure that they found that easy outlet. Child not even taking a bounce, just catching the ball, looking ahead, making a nice pass. You'd love to have seen the rest of the Rockets just chase back, track back with Olaire to go and get the rebound after a great first attempt to try and block the shot. But you just would like everyone to get back and make sure there's no offensive rebound.
Well, Ben Winter, a product of the legendary Copleston Academy in Ipswich, makes the second foul shot as well as the first. He's actually a flawless 100% for the season as Nasangu checks out and Malik Bryant comes in. And after starting a lot of the games this season, Malik Bryant has found a good adjustment, switching to the sixth man off the bench, and has really performed incredibly well for the Rockets. Here he is on the ball now, and Borknight now has it. Pass inside. What a find from Borknight, and Creek the flush. Child. Uda goes right down Main Street, ball out of bounds. It will stay with the Rebels.
And you love to see that last possession from Reading. You can see on your screens on the highlight, just Cooper Creek finding a space on the baseline. Obviously, Rockets going smaller, taking Nasangu out. So the back of the zone just getting a little bit too tentative on the
another
three.
One. And at the other end, the flush there from Ben Winter. Whatever you can do, I can do as well. Borknight. Creek. And Olaire, still a lot of time on the shot clock for the Rockets. But Olaire over-dribbles it and loses the ball. So far, Essex's offense has been very patient. As the ball goes out of bounds, it will stay with the Rebels. But Rebels have been playing very smart basketball at the moment. They're not rushing their offense. They're passing it around. They're letting the shot clock swing by, as you see the replay of Winter's dunk there. And here is Winter, a three, and he puts it in.
And Winter, what a great start he's had in this first quarter, managing to get out in transition and get opportunities there, earn himself some free throws, get a big dunk, and now he's making threes. Good start for Ben Winter.
7 points for Winter as Bryant is open for three, and that's no good. And there's a bit of a miscommunication there between Uda and Edieta Mendez, and it allows Portman to get the ball. Borknight drives, kicks it out. Olaire in a tough three. Good defense along the perimeter from the Rebels, and here is Child. Winter kicks it out. Edieta Mendez, a three, puts it in, and the Rebels now take a 2-point lead, and that's enough for Samit Nurizadeh to call a timeout, and a good spurt this from the visitors.
Absolutely excellent from Essex, especially considering that the Reading Rockets managed to get an early lead. And with the strength of the Reading roster today, with Essex, of course, missing some key players, you just wondered, could it start to get away from Essex? Could they start to fall a little bit too far behind? But no, stayed, as you said, John, very disciplined, found the kind of shots that they were looking for. They've made a really good defensive adjustment, switching to a 3-2 zone, which we can have a little look at later. But yeah, really impressed with them. They've adjusted very well.
And for the Rockets, a very good start, but the last few offenses have been very, very tacky, very, they've been looking to go up and down the floor quite quickly. And it's been a bit scrappy thus far, hasn't it? Very sloppy.
Well, I think the change to the 3-2 zone has really caused Reading a couple of problems. You saw a second ago a Cooper Creek dunk, and that was a good, well-executed offense from Reading. But after that, just clogging the paint and forcing Reading to shoot contested shots has hurt Reading. They've not been able to put any additional points on the scoreboard.
But incredibly, at the moment, Reading have managed 6 more field goal attempts than Essex thus far. However, they're only shooting 46%, whereas the Rebels are a very consistent 66%. That just goes to show how methodical they've been with their offense, choosing the right shots at the right times. But after this timeout, Reading will look to bounce back as Yusuf Saleh is into the game for the first time. Here is Borknight. Will we see Charlie's coach's corner today? I wonder. Here is Borknight and the easy score from Portman, and that's what Reading have got to do. They've done that to great success so far.
Yeah, really nice. Just play off the pick and roll. Good movement away from the ball as well, creating pockets of space for teammates to roll into. Very nice.
Had 4 field goals from Reading with almost that exact play as Uda drives to the basket, slashing his way to the cup.
Again, Essex are finding a good shot after good shot. Everything at the rim are open threes.
Well, they're seeing gaps in the Reading defense, and my goodness me, they're exploiting it. As Borknight has it. Creek, 9 to shoot. Borknight fakes. Goes inside and gets it to go.
Yeah, this could be a high-scoring one, John. Both teams now running smooth, silky offense, getting the kind of shots that they'd like.
Harry Gent into the game for the first time as well for the Essex Rebels, the number 36. And here is Portman. Bryant. Borknight again goes inside. This time, lovely pass inside and a foul, is it? Yes, it is. Great pass there from Borknight. He almost looked to lose the ball as Edieta Mendez faced him up, but a great find to Creek.
Baseline drive defended very well by Essex, but Jack Borknight with that point guard vision manages to just drop the ball off to a cutting Cooper Creek.
Ben Winter checks out. More Wall Cummings comes in as Jax Borknight heads to the bench and Laquan Sales comes in. Of course, Cooper Creek's father Wayne is here in attendance somewhere today, watching his son. As Creek makes the resulting free throw, and obviously lots for Wayne Creek to be proud of. Got a dunk and a three-point play here in the first quarter. Lots more highlights, I'm sure, to come from the big Australian.
Absolutely, Tyner Sango and Cooper Creek have been important so far as Reading looks to play inside to their bigs.
Uda, and great pressure defense from the Rockets. In particular, Bryant, Sally a 3 short. And now Uda can bring it up, and look at Essex, it's 3-on-1, and a foul is called as Nsangu was going for the highlight block on Edieta Mendez. You look at the replay and you see Charlie just intently looking at the replay there.
Well, maybe he's called something a little bit different. So I thought he did a really good job of getting his arm all the way in front of the ball and blocking the ball, but maybe for umpiring in Leicester, maybe it was something to do with too much body contact or something like this. I'm not sure, but yeah, I feel unfortunate for there. I thought that was a good block. But what we will say, John, is that transition opportunity comes out of a bit of a rush shot here. You've got plenty of time on the shot clock and you shoot a pull-up 3 in transition. Maybe wasn't the shot needed.
Edieta Mendez makes the second. And Simon Chamberlain comes into the game and Tyner Sangu comes out. Of course, any refereeing calls, we will be questioned on it, as in particular Lewis Walker Everton and Ian Lester do watch every game, commentary and all. Oh, don't I know about that. Here is Sally. Bryant And Brian, Sally gives it up. And here is Remy Uda. Sees a gap, puts up a mid-range. Adieta Mendez, great hustle, and another whistle has gone. And that's a fourth team foul for the Rockets with 1:01 to play in the first.
Really good, well-executed offense from Reading, but just a loose pass. And again, Essex Rebels looking to punish Reading in transition and try and attack the mismatches and the space that transition opportunities give them.
Another turnover, and away come the Rockets, but Essex doing a great job in getting back on defense. 3-2 defense on a zone. Here is Sally. Bryant nearly lost the ball, is hounded. Chamberlain a three, money.
And that's the kind of shot you do want. Simon Chamberlain, the sniper from the three-point line.
Wall Cummings answers back at the other end.
I love it when that happens. One team makes a three and they answer back. Could we have a three-point return again from Reading?
Wall Cummings, a really good three-point shooter. 40% for the season. Sally, 15 seconds on the clock in the first period. 5 to shoot. Bryant drives inside, muscles his way to the basket. Final seconds of the first quarter. Wall Cummings still has it. Has to put up something. Bryant gets the block. I don't think that would have counted, even though it was short. But that ends the first quarter, an entertaining first quarter. The Rockets lead the Essex Rebels 27-23. And we see the whiteboard is out, Charlie, as we have a look at a few highlights of the first quarter. As Charlie gets set, it looks like the chalk and talk is coming back. As we look at the great crowd here inside, Zane Portman has 6 points to lead the Rockets. Ben Winter has 7. And just quickly, we will go to you, Charlie, on your chalk and talk.
Awesome, thank you, John. Right, so one thing we've seen from the Essex Rebels is a 3-2 zone. That's where we have the 3 players at the top and the 2 players at the back. What Reading are trying to do to exploit this is they're trying to space the floor in a way where they leave one player with nobody to defend. So you'll see here with the offensive players, they're trying to overload the 3 defenders here, and they're trying to take out one side of the floor completely. This was the dunk we just saw from Cooper Creek. We saw a shooter wide open on the wing, that brought the defender out, and then we passed inside. A second ago, we see a 3-point attempt from Simon Chamberlain. Why? Because he played here, player on the baseline was taking away defender, and we had an open 3-point shot.
And that is Charlie's coach's corner. No doubt we'll be seeing that a couple of times here today. That was a really good segment. As we get set to start the second quarter, sponsorship opportunities, of course, are invited for Charlie. Mainly just so he can get a donut at the end of each quarter.
Krispy Kreme, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Johnson tops at a 3, corner pocket, misses everything. And Yusuf Saleh collects the loose change. Here is Bryant. Saleh. Creek, good defense from Winter, and well, he gets the turnover. So Rebels get the ball. That was good defense, exploiting, well, Cooper Creek wanted to exploit the mismatch, but Winter, smart defense.
Yeah, and very aggressive, and I think just because Cooper Creek managed to get the turn and had a potential opportunity for a layup.
Child going for an NBA range 3, but misses it. Olarerin gets it back from Chamberlain. Olarerin on the spin, and that should be an offensive interference, and it is. As I think Isaac Temalola, who's making his debut today, just accidentally put his hands on the basket. 29-23 now in favor of the Aldermore Reading Rockets. Here is Winter inside, and the easy finish for Daniel Johnson-Thompson.
Defensive breakdown for Reading, but a really well-executed offensive pass there for the Rebels, finding DJT by the basket.
Could never say JDT really quickly. I always get tongue-tied. I'll just go with the full name,
Remember, 3 years of experience of him at uni might have helped.
Yeah, true. So another turnover for the Rockets. Here is Winter. Child. Temalola is calling for it. Child goes for three and strings it.
And fair enough, if you're going to hit that one, Reading did a really good job of stopping the post-entry pass, and Child out of nowhere just strings it from way behind the three-point arc.
Again, another NBA range three. It's Super Bowl Sunday today, a limited NBA schedule, but either way, Olarerin, 2 minutes played in the second. Olarerin was looking for Creek. Sally now pulls up from the mid-range. That's long, and Child collects the loose ball. And another whistle has gone.
Yeah, smart foul from Cooper Creek. He hasn't had a foul this game yet, so could see that the Rebels were out in transition with a chance to break away and try and get an easy look to score. So Cooper Creek just gives him a bump and puts the ball on the sideline, and now we're playing 5v5 again.
As Winter resumes. 1 point game. Early stages of the second period here at Lon Valley. Johnson-Thompson putting the moves on Creek, kicks it out. Child, good track back defense from Bryant. A long floater from Child doesn't go. Winter collects. Child gets it back. Lovely pass to Johnson-Thompson. Can't get the extra pass. Walt Cummings as the shot clock is winding down. And Portman collects. Good defense from the Rockets. Bryant. The extra pass. Olarerin wide open from the wing. Back irons on the three. As Winter put under pressure and the Rockets have it back. Creek inside. Creek the finish. And a timeout has been called by Rebels coach Joe Hart. And the Reading Rockets take a 31-28 lead with just over 3 minutes played. Here in this second period, you see Joe Hart there calling a wise timeout as the Rockets looking to build a little bit of momentum. Both teams actually shooting the ball very well, both at around 54% thus far. But it's the Rockets that hold a 3-point advantage. But as we've said at the very start, obviously Miles Brown is missing today, so is Kyron Martin for the Rebels. So a lot of scoring is missing for the Rebels, but there are players that are stepping up. Ben Winter has 7 points. All of that came in the first quarter.
Yeah, and also even further than that, John, you've got everybody that's touched the court, bar one or bar two players off the bench, have taken a shot so far and scored. So I think that's a promising sign for them too, is that they're getting contribution from everybody. And it's going to be a bit of a team effort. You need one or two guys to really set the tone, but everyone else in a game when you're missing key players has to chip in, and they are.
And Joe Hart, no one knows it better than Joe Hart, of course, a decorated veteran in his own right, recently retired, turning to head coaching duties with the Rebels. Former Great Britain international. And of course, ended his playing career with the Rebels after a number of years in the what was the BBL, the British Basketball League, then turned SLB. Here is Winter. Child was thinking about the three. Olarerin knew exactly what he was doing. Temalola, tough shot, doesn't get it to fall. Ball is loose. Borknight collects. Great defense from Uda there on Borknight, but keeps his dribble going. Borknight, a little bit of a mismatch here with Uda. There's the screen from Creek. Olarerin, 5 to shoot. Olarerin high off the window, misses everything. That's good defense from the Rebels. As Winter is fouled by Borknight. Ed Yadansky in good position there.
Just got caught there, didn't he, Jack Spocknight? Just allowed the guy to go towards the middle of the court. And there are some defensive coaches out there that like to encourage players to dribble to the middle of the court, but I don't think Nurizade is one of them.
Child. Johnson Thompson. Temalola, travelling violation on the Essex new boy.
Yeah, just hopped a little bit before he put the ball down, just got a little bit overly excited, I think. And we can see both teams as well putting a little bit of full court pressure on. Reading looking to a bit of a zone press, with Rebels looking to just put some pressure on the lead guard.
Bryant. Putting the moves on Child, zips it to Poorman. Great defense from Temalola, but Poorman still has it. Shot clock at 4. Reading got to get busy. Creek a 3, puts it in.
And when Dad shows up, Cooper delivers. What a great shot from Cooper Creek. And he is already on double digits.
Yeah, first player on double digits, 10 points. First triple for Cooper Creek this afternoon. Child, 6 to shoot for the Rebels. Uda nearly travelled with it. Johnson Thompson puts it up. No good. Temalola skies for the rebound. Bryant strips it off him. And now Olarerin can't hang on, but still has it. Poorman to the basket, blocked by Johnson Thompson.
What a block that is from Johnson Thompson. Times it really well and just pins it off the backboard.
Child. Beautiful move to the basket.
What a performance we're seeing here from Child and Winter, really setting the tone at the guard position for the Essex Rebels.
8 points now for Child. 4-point game. Creek. Bit of a mismatch with Child. Poorman. Temalola for company, and the reverse from Poorman. Temalola, oh, nearly beautiful footwork. Almost looked like he was going to travel with it, but just had enough step there to get the layup to go.
What a great impact he's had off the bench, protecting the rim one end and doing what's needed of him on the offensive end.
Olarerin. Olarerin, a floater in traffic, and a timeout called by the Rebels.
And Victor Olarerin just finding a bit of space, and I think a little bit of that shot attempt was him going, I fancy another couple of points added to my name. Forced his way to the rim. Tough shot over multiple players, but a really talented scorer, and all that defensive pressure won't faze him.
As he moves on to 9 points, 4 of 10 from the field. Cooper Creek, though, with that 3 leading the way, 10 points on 4 of 5 shooting. The only miss he has made is from downtown so far, but a great showing from the big Australian with his daddy watching.
Absolutely. And one thing I just wonder now for Essex Rebels, it's a little bit different when you start the game, especially when probably the scout for Reading involved the 2 players that we've said are not here today. So when you play this one, you've got to be pretty open-minded about how you're going to defend. We've now got players that are starting to be really efficient and really effective for the Essex Rebels. So you imagine that Nurizade and his coaching staff are going to start to talk about how to limit certain players' scoring. That's when it gets difficult. When you're being denied the ball from baseline to baseline, can you still have the same impact as when you were just being defended, as everyone normally is at the start of a game?
As you see, Samit Nurizade milking every single second of the timeout. Of course, Reading looking to bounce back from defeat at Worthing last Sunday. Of course, they need to win really today to stay joint top alongside the Newcastle Knights. Those 2 teams will play on the March the 21st here at Loddon Valley. Of course, Newcastle have got 1 win over Reading already this season. Here is Winter with 6 to shoot. Temalola, and the pass goes wanting. Olarerin to the basket. Another block, this time from Temalola. Ball is loose. Essex come up with it, and Winter has it. Good defense from Borknight, foot violation, and that'll be an Essex ball, but what a block this time. Temalola pinning it to the basket.
Is that a third block of the game on the Essex Rebels defense, and plenty of shots being distracted and taken out of their stride? That's a really good block from Temalola.
Of course, only was announced a couple of hours before tip-off here today. Here is Child. Will Cummings in great position, but Tom Child goes it alone. Bryant rebounds. Bryant still has the ball. Borknight is wide open.
And that's a big shot from Jack Borknight as the lead just one away from double digits. Reading are going to try and get that big run back on the board.
January's BCB Molten Player of the Month now moves on to 5. Remy Uda, here is Child. 4 to shoot. Lovely pass and the finish from Winter. What a find from Uda.
Absolutely, lovely back cut from Winter. He just finds that Jack Borknight is ball watching a little bit too much, cuts behind him, goes all the way to the basket for a layup.
And Will Cummings a little too enthusiastic there with the defense on Borknight.
I will say, John, I'm really enjoying the tactical battles between the two coaches. You saw Reading a second ago in a full court pressure defense, and by the time the Essex Rebels actually got the ball to the top of the three-point line and called a play, there's only about 7 seconds left on the shot clock, and that's one thing that the press is doing to Essex Rebels. It's speeding them up. Now we see Rebels back in a zone.
Back in the zone, yeah, with Harry Gent back into the game alongside Anthony Indieta Mendez as Winter takes a rest alongside Temalola. Creek, corner pocket 3.
And that's the challenge when you put your big guy at the top of the zone. Just playing in 1v1, not a great defender against guards.
And now it's a double-digit game. Rebounded by Bryant off the miss from Indieta Mendez. 44 to 34, 1:36 to play in the half. Borknight. Bryant is wide open, gets it, slashes to the cup, kicks it out. Creek from the wing. And it's rebounded by Uda. And Uda is fouled. Joe Hart, I think, wanted an unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, it's just because when you foul in transition, as we say in most weeks, you foul to put the ball on the sideline and play 5v5, but it has to look like a play on the ball. And that one, to me, is Borknight definitely was doing a foul and without trying to cause harm, but he wasn't making a play on the ball. So
plus, as well, there was other Reading players ahead. So.
Yes, yeah, but it's the challenge Coach Hart will be asking is, you see, he's saying, look, he's hugging him.
Yeah.
What he's saying is there's no play on the ball, but it's a common foul, and what the refs don't want is for you to try and slap the ball really hard and hurt someone. So you'd rather someone just takes an intelligent foul and you just let it be that than you call an unsportsmanlike for one that's quite soft.
Yusuf Saleh into the game for Jax Borknight for the final minute and 14. Here is Uda. Child. Wall Cummings. Indieta Mendez, 4 to shoot. Mendez loses it. And so does Olarerin. But then so does Wall Cummings. But then he gets it back. Child. Uda is wide open, fluffs his lines though, and he has to reset. Creek now has it. Uda. Child is open a 3. That misses it, nearly misses everything. Creek comes up with it. What a scrappy sequence that was from both teams.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, started off with a Mendez forced drive. He just didn't need to make. Then we had the loose handle from Olarerin. The players on both teams didn't chase the person trying to score, so when the shot didn't go in, there was just a bunch of people scrambling all the way in the other half, realizing they need to get back. So now this is the time you want to slow down, calm down, and run a good offense.
Well, Sally knocks it down, so much for that.
Or you just give it to one of your guys that are really good and then just shoot in transition.
What a revelation Yusuf Saleh has been since he's come in the new year. A 3-point bomb threat on there for the Rockets, and he has done incredibly well since coming into the team. Final 10 seconds. Essex will look to milk the shot clock for all it's worth, though. 3 to shoot. Gent blocked by Creek. Final seconds. Oleraren's got to get busy. Will that count? Now I think Ed Udansky has said no. The referees are just going to have a chat, but Ed Udansky adamant that won't count. And it won't count. So that ends the half. And the Reading Rockets in good position. They lead 47 to 34. Cooper Creek leading the way with 13 points on 5 of 7 shooting. No Essex player in double figures, however, a well-balanced scoring effort for them, led by Ben Winter, who has 9 points thus far. And for a guy that only averages 5 points a game, he is certainly stepping up. But Reading in the ascendancy right now.
Absolutely. I've been really impressed with the guard play of Winter and Child. Child taking a lot of shots from very far behind the three-point line, so he might want to look at maybe faking a couple and seeing if he can play in the mid-range or even go all the way to the rim. But Ben Winter, what a really intelligent performance we've seen from him, trying to make sure he's limiting his turnovers and creating easy looks for himself.
So it is half-time, and we will be back a little earlier than usual for the third quarter. So Charlie's chalk and talk will come back into play. So we'll be back in around 10 minutes' time. Don't go anywhere. Hello everyone, welcome back to Loddon Valley, where the Aldermore Reading Rockets lead the Essex Rebels 47-34. At the half, third quarter will be up and running in about 5 minutes' time. You're looking at the highlights, and now you're looking at the teams warming up for the third quarter. John Hobbs, Charlie Haynes keeping you company for the second half, but we're going to bring back Charlie's board now for the start of the third quarter. And Charlie, there was particular plays in that first half that we'll look into. First off, the half-court play from the Essex Rebels. It's been really good to see, and especially with the absence of Miles Brown and Cara Martin, they're utilising every player. Just what has been Essex's strength so far?
Well, this is also one thing that you said, and I think you were absolutely right, is they were being patient and they were really working for the right kind of shots. One of the plays that Essex ran that I really liked, they have the two bigs at the top of the three-point line. They put one of their shooters under the basket, and of course they've got their other guard with the ball. So you might, for example, have Winter with the ball and Child under the basket. What's then happening is the two bigs are setting screens for the ball handler. And as the person is dribbling over the top of the screens, they have the shooter set a third screen for one of their bigs to then come to the basket. This is really nice for multiple reasons. One of them is it forces the small defender who's defending the back screen to have to guard the big. This might be a Dan Johnson-Thompson, but it also forces the big to have to defend a shooter. So it forces a Cooper Creek to have to defend a Winter or a Child. So this is one thing I really liked about the Essex Rebels.
And on the other side, the Reading Rockets. What has been their strength in this first half? We mentioned the press, but there's other things as well. We'll probably lean more on what Reading have done there. Yeah,
well, it's similar to what we said. It was a high-scoring game, and both teams were having a bit of a chess match. It was a very good tactical battle. One of the things that we therefore saw, in terms of the press, is we saw Reading. If you just look at the lines with the dots on top, they had the three players high, and they had two players defending the bigger ones further down the court. What they were then trying to do when the ball came in is they go and put two players on the ball. And again, we talked about this similarly last week in the stream. What it does is it puts more pressure on the ball and it forces them to pass. If you look at the angle that I've drawn the trap, you can see you're stopping the ball going sideways, you're stopping the ball going forwards. So the only thing you can now do is make the ball pass backwards. Well, that's taking time off the clock, and it lets you return to your people and now trap again on the opposite side of the court. So this is the way that Reading have tried to slow the Essex Rebels down, force them into only having 8 or 10 seconds to run their offenses, and it stops Essex from being able to run the kind of plays that we saw that were being really effective. Whilst John has a Star Mix.
I tried to get all of that in while eating a Haribo. That wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
You did okay. You did okay. The time, it wasn't quite a buzzer beater, but we went a little bit into overtime on that one, didn't we?
You say that, but anyway. Start of the third quarter incoming here at the Valley. Right now, the Reading Rockets, led by Cooper Creek, who has 13 points on 5 of 7 shooting. And Victor Olorarian adding 9 points to his tally. For the Essex Rebels, Ben Winter has 9 points at the moment. Tom Child with 8. As we look at some of the highlights of the first half.
So you can see two teams getting back onto the floor. It's going to be a Reading ball according to the arrow on the table.
So we're about to start the third quarter. Hopefully we're getting some a bit of technical issues with my headset. Hopefully that can be fixed in a minute as we start the third period. And straight away, a travelling violation has been called.
And that is not what you want to start the half, just 4 seconds in, and you've already given the ball the other way. Because Reading started the quarter, that does mean that the Essex Rebels will get the next jump ball possession.
Here is Uda. And now I'm back online and back in business.
Pick and roll there between Child and Johnson-Thompson, and that's an easy bucket. So Rebels with the first points of the third quarter.
And here is Olarerin. Now I'm back and in business. Here is Olarerin. Sally gets bumped, but doesn't get that to fall. Ball is loose. Olarerin straight away. And that goes out of bounds. It will go to Essex.
But not a bad shot for Victor Olarerin.
Now who has Star Mix in their mouth?
It's actually a Welsh cake.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay. I had them at half-time. The Johnsons certainly know how to make a good Welsh cake.
This is very true.
Should hope so as well, coming from Wales. Here is Child. Johnson-Thompson with the left hand, no good. Hudson can't get it on the follow. Here is Borknight. Sally. Borknight to Portman. Goes a bit closer to the basket and gets the 2 to 4.
Yeah, strange defensive coverage there for that shot from the Rebels. Portman wide open to shoot a little mid-range jump shot.
Johnson-Thompson. Winter. Johnson-Thompson, lovely bounce past the Child, fading away, and that hits the side of the backboard, gets it back. Hudson can't get the flow to the go, and it goes out of bounds, and Essex keeps it.
And this is, as we said in the first half, these are the moments where we find out who is really stepping up for the Rebels. They were fantastic in the first 15 minutes of the game, but now Reading starting to put more heat on the guards, and other players are going to have to find some ways to score.
Remy Uda. 9 to shoot. Uda a 3, short, rebounded by Olarerin.
It's just not the kind of shots you want if you're Essex here. First 2 minutes into the game, a 1 pass 3 after the out of bounds.
And a blocking foul is called on Tom Child. As we have a look at the replay. Ooh, well, we've seen offensive fouls called for that before.
Yeah,
as well as blocking fouls. It's one of those calls, isn't it?
Yeah, he was moving, but he was in. Oh!
Now that is a foul, and that'll be a hard foul from Remy Uda.
Just looking at that one before, I felt like Child was in really good defensive position, and he was moving, but he was in legal guarding position, so I was a bit surprised. But I think we can agree the second one definitely was a foul.
The second one definitely was a foul.
I think it's called a clothesline in the WWE.
Well, it is WrestleMania season, anyway.
That's true, actually. Yeah. Didn't know you're a WWE fan.
Neither do I. But when you subscribe to Netflix,
well,
you're forced to. Here is Sally. Sally thought about it. Olarerin, no hesitation, a 3. That's no good. And another whistle has gone. Very stop-start last few possessions here from both sides.
Yeah, Hudson just, I think, realised that Nsangu was going to beat him to the rebound and just gave him a cheeky tug on the arm just to try and stop him from going to get it. But the referees were wise to that one and just caught him doing it.
49 to 36, early doors in this third period. Here is Portman. Sally. Borknight. Borknight driving, kicks it out. Olarerin, the extra pass to Sally. Shot clock at 2. Sally puts it up, knocks it down.
And that is an excellent shot from Yusuf Sally. Finds his elbow jump shot, rises up and drains it.
Especially with the shot clock winding down, tremendous composure Here is Winter. Johnson Thompson. Child finds a bit of room, kicks it out. Winter wide open, a three, no good. Essex still get the ball. Ball is batted around. Johnson Thompson is fouled. And 2 shots to come for Daniel Johnson Thompson.
Yeah, really good job on the board from Johnson Thompson and Hudson, who just got after it. And just as we're talking about the impact they're having on the glass, you've got Temalola coming back in, who's also been very good at trying to get after those rebounds.
Daniel Johnson Thompson, 62% for the season from the foul line. But has been a menace under the basket all afternoon. In fact, he's been like that throughout his playing career. Former Worthing Thunder man and Worcester Wolves man from the old BBL days.
And as you were saying earlier, his younger brother also being a former Reading Rockets player as part of the academy.
Absolutely. As brief stoppage in play as Portman and Olarerin switch places. And Johnson Thompson splits the foul shots. Portman collects the rebound. That's rebound number 6 for Zane Portman in this contest. Borknight. Here is Olarerin. Olarerin. Borknight sees a lane, but can't exploit it. And Johnson Thompson the rebound.
Rebels here need to find a good quality shot here, doing a good job on the offensive boards, but getting a little bit trigger happy from behind the 3-point line early in this 3rd quarter.
Only his 4th rebound. That's a backcourt violation on Wal Cummings. Only Johnson Thompson's 4th rebound, averages just around 6 a game. As Wal Cummings unaware of his where he was on the court as he stepped over the line. Elieta Mendez comes in, Winter comes out. And, love the fact, by the way, that so many comments on the YouTube have not been about the game, but have been about the Johnson's Welsh cakes.
I can say it is delicious,
They
so highly recommend.
Especially with butter. Oh, it's another level there.
Got to concentrate on the game here, John. And
getting hungry.
Yeah.
Ball goes out of bounds, and the Rockets will keep it. 3.5 on the shot clock. We've played nearly 4 minutes of the 3rd as Malik Bryant and Laquan Sales will check in. Yusuf Saleh, and it looks like Victor Olarerin will check out.
Victor Olarerin is doing all the right things in this one. He's only on 9 points, but taking the right kind of shots, getting after it on the defensive and offensive and rebounds on both ends as well.
Well, a fresh 14 has been put on the clock for the Rockets. Borknight sees some daylight, kicks it out, the extra pass to Sales. Bryant gets it back, 4 to shoot for the Rockets. Lovely pass to Nasangu. And Johnson Thompson there again for the rebound.
And scoring is drying up in this quarter, only 4 points to 3. So again, Essex are going to want to try and look for a good quality shot here.
Johnson Thompson. Child just about hangs on. Good defense from Borknight. Good hands from Borknight and the steal. And away come the Rockets. Here is Portman inside, blocked again. Another whistle has gone. Johnson Thompson can't believe it. That would have been his 2nd block, but a late whistle. We have a look at the replay here. Portman going up. Hard to see really from that.
Yeah, I think because there was a little bit of body-to-body contact, and that's normally allowed if it's on the front of the offensive player. But you can see there, he just got a bit of contact on his back, and that's one place that referees don't like body-to-body contact, because it's very hard if someone is jumping forward for you to make contact on their back and still be jumping up at the same time. So really clean on the ball. I imagine they've probably called that foul on the body.
Portman makes the first. Of course, one of 2 games in the BCB today. The other game has just tipped off on the south coast between the Worthing Thunder and Bristol Hurricanes in its very, very early stages there. Here is Child. Henrietta Mendes. Temalola. Temalola somehow gets a hook shot to go with Sangu with the rebound.
And smart from Essex. So that press we talked about at halftime is what Reading were looking to run, but Essex just put more players further down the court. Easier to pass ahead because they're outnumbered and they get a good chance to try and get a look at the rim.
Borknight. Nasangu, ball is loose. Henrietta Mendes comes up with it. Essex getting a good amount of steals, good amount of stops, but offensively just need to take care of the ball and execute your offense. That'll do from Temalola.
Absolutely, I've been impressed with Temalola. He's just a real hustle guy, gets after it. He's doing a lot of good things for Rebels.
Rebels shooting now around 40% from the field. Rockets at 51. Here is Bryant. Blocked by Johnson Thompson. Second block of the day for him. Ball is loose. It will go to the Rebels. And a foul called, I believe, on Malik Bryant.
That won't be a foul that Reading will be too worried about. Obviously, Malik Bryant picking up his first, and they're only on 2 team fouls. And we've only just got over the half. It's actually the Essex Rebels. They're not going to want to make any fouls unless it is on shots and you're trying to stop somebody from making a bucket. If someone manages to beat you and get a layup, you just make sure you foul them hard enough that they can't make the 3.
The Rebels have no more fouls to give in this third period. One more will send the Rockets to the line. Here is Child. 7 to shoot. Winter. Child glides inside, falls away, gets it, rattles that one in.
That's a big shot for him. That's a shot that he needed to make as well. Could have done with a bucket, and he's on 12 now.
3:52 to play in the third. And Rockets still lead, but Essex, you know, they're sticking by it. There's another block. I think it was Temalola this time. And Rebels get another stop. And when you look at what a low-scoring quarter this has been, Essex are outscoring Reading 7-5 with 3:32 to play now in the third. Another turnover and away come Reading. Of course, Essex, no more fouls to give, so another foul will send the Rockets to the line. Borknight. Borknight gets it back, a 3. And that's no good. Both teams really gone cold in this third quarter as Walt Cummings is fouled by Sales.
Absolutely, you've got a team in Essex that are trying to just make sure that Reading are forced into playing long offenses and limiting the kind of shots that you would benefit Reading. And then meanwhile on the other end, we're seeing a little bit more denial and pressure on the key guards and trying to force the other guys to do more things. I've been really impressed with actually how much the Rebels are getting after the offensive rebounds. They're just then struggling to put the ball in the hoop, but the hustle play is good.
Well, Rebels have out-rebounded the Rockets on the offensive glass 12 to 10, so doing good in that department. Winter gets bumped and doesn't get it to fall. It agonizingly falls out. But Ben Winter will head to the stripe, and now the Rockets with one more foul to give in the third.
Yeah, I think referee might have seen again a bit too much body contact. I thought Borknight actually did a good job of keeping himself away from fouls there, but better view for the officials.
So that's something that Winter does so well. He always adjusts his shot and almost gets in the way of the player that's trying to defend him, and we've seen that a lot of times today. We've seen it throughout his career, and that's bread and butter for Winter.
And it's something that's sort of been evolving. I remember seeing Dwayne Wade have a really good fake shot, and he would draw the contact and then shoot. Now you think about players like James Harden and Luka Doncic in the NBA, and the amount of and ones, and not just on layups, the amount of and ones they actually get on three-point plays, because they've just learned how to absorb contact, which is what you're referring to with Winter here.
Of course, James Harden made his NBA, his Cavaliers debut the other night. Here is Bryant. Borknight is wide open, a 3.
And you saw Coach Hart was not happy when Borknight caught the ball and was that wide open.
35% from downtown in this game, the Rockets. 2:25 to play. Rockets up 13. Wall Cummings, Johnson Thompson, the extra pass, and Temalola was going for the block, and the Sangu said, not in my house. Here is Bryant. Bryant, oh, a foul is called, a blocking foul.
And what a block. You can see that on your screen now. It's the battle of the giants as Nsangu and Cooper Creek managed to get up there and just get a tip on the dunk attempt.
Malik Bryant will go to the stripe for freebies. And after a very scrappy third quarter, we probably had our best sequence of this this period. 2:11 to play. Bryant at the line misses the first. Malik Bryant, a 73% foul shooter for the season, averaging 15 points a game. First season here in Berkshire. Rattles in the second.
And again, that full court press from Rockets and all. Malik Bryant just tried to get a piece of it, but again, too much body contact.
And now the Rockets are in the penalty. So there'll be foul shots for the Rebels with 2:06 to play here in the third period.
And for the younger viewers as well, this is why it's so important early in the game to be brave in the way that you defend, because you can see we've had a long stint in the third quarter where there wasn't a lot of body-to-body contact. So now every kind of contact is different to how the game is being played, therefore the referees need to call it. However, if you start with really aggressive defense, you get after the ball, you deny your player really, really hard, then you kind of get away with more contact later in the game, because that's just how the game's been flowing.
Johnson Thompson misses them both as Tyrese Hudson will check in at some point for the Rebels. Here is Laquan Sales. And a bit of a miscommunication there between Sales and Creek as the ball, no pun intended, sails out of bounds, and Tyrese Hudson comes into the game. Thank you.
We're not moving past that one. That's very good from you.
Here is Winter. 14-point game. Biggest lead of the game for the Rockets was 15. Temalola. Winter has it. Child, catch and shoot three. Splash.
That's a big shot from Child again. Another big three from him. He's 3 of 6 on 50%. And that one was actually a close shot for him after some of the three-point attempts we've seen earlier in the game from Child.
Bryant. Borknight, Nsangu to Bryant. Borknight drives in, kicks it out to Cooper Creek. There's a wild pass from Creek, but he was falling out of bounds. Bit of a broken offense there from the Rockets, and that'll be their 10th turnover of the game.
A couple of forced drives there. Thought Borknight could have made the extra pass to Sales rather than trying to attack down the middle, and then Cooper Creek, after he receives the ball from Borknight, could have just passed it back to him as he was wide open. Instead forces his way to the baseline, and Reading kind of caused their own problems on that last possession.
Well, Rebels hanging around here. No Miles Brown, but they're fighting on. Like the Rebels they are. Child in and out with the three as it bobbled up off the back iron. Borknight to Nsangu. Nsangu no good. And away comes Uda. Again, another stop for the Rebels. Hudson. Winter a three. Gets it to go. Here come the Rebels.
And the Rebels guards were being defended really well by Reading earlier in the quarter, but they've made a couple of changes to their defense, and now they're being punished. Winter and Child are the two guys that need to really be taken out of the game, but because of the rebounding issues they've been having, they've had to send more people to the glass and more people ready to go and rebound. Now all of a sudden the shooters are wide open.
And if you're a British basketball purist, it's good to see two British guards leading the way and leading the offense for the Rebels in this contest. Here is Borknight. Borknight stops at the elbow, doesn't get that to fall. Winter rebounds, lobs it and passes it straight to Bryant. Here is Olarerin, and Olarerin slows it.
Forced error there from Essex. They didn't need to try and throw that pass, and they had the clock on their side. They've turned it over. Reading have 6 seconds.
Bryant, final seconds of the third. Chamberlain is open. In and out, ball is batted around, and that'll do it for the third period. And it is all to play for in this fourth quarter. Essex Rebels have hung around and have outscored the Reading Rockets 14-9 in that third period. And it's all to play for in the fourth, but the Rockets have a 56-48 lead, and lots for Charlie and his whiteboard to talk about as we go into the fourth period. Highlights of the third period, just gives Charlie a little bit more time to prepare, I guess. And a lot of highlights as well. Good if you're a Essex Rebels fan. However, Charlie, it's all yours.
Absolutely. One thing I want to look at is how Reading were trying to take Child out of the game. Typically, when you're trying to defend, what we have is we have the line of pass. That's the line that the ball needs to travel to go from the person that's currently holding it to the receiver of the pass. So typically you defend somewhere along that line and you jump a little bit to the basket to be ready to help and rebound and block shots. However, what they've been doing with Child is they've been, rather than dropping off, they've been a little bit closer. They've done what we call denying. They're getting closer to him. Whenever there's a screen, they're not coming off him, they're sticking with him all the way over the screen. This is to limit the amount of catches and to force the other guys to have to make the plays.
We're about to start the fourth quarter here at Loddon Valley. The Haribo sweets are flying. The kids are loving it here. It's a near full house inside Loddon Valley, as it normally is. And calm down, will you, Charlie? You're jumping like a little boy here, trying to get some Haribo as we start the fourth quarter. I think Bailey's going to come up to you. Here is Child. Child over Chamberlain. And Chamberlain stands his ground. Olarerin. Bryant putting the moves on Johnson Thompson. And there'll be foul shots to come.
Can we let everybody know at home that not only are we currently getting a shout out, but more importantly, we've just received some Haribo Star Mix. What a guy we've got on the mic, eh?
I've no idea what he's saying. We've got a game to call here, yeah, so Malik Bryan is going to the foul line.
He might be making some horrible comments about us for all we know.
I mean, there's nearly 300 odd people, a near full house inside Loddon Valley. We have no idea what he's saying. As Bryant hits the first, and the Rockets have a chance to re-establish their double-digit cushion. Early doors in the fourth. As Bryant hits it.
Important for both teams that they get off to a hot start here. Reading will not want Rebels to build momentum when we get to an end game, and Rebels will not want Reading to run away with too big of a lead and put themselves at a too large deficit to recover.
And Reading's press working well there, as Essex will retain possession, but couldn't even get the ball into the open floor.
So you see the three players.
And again.
You can see the three players really high here, and then you've got Creek and Chamberlain who are just following the two bigger players to make sure they can't throw a long pass, but it's the three guards, Malik Bryant, Victor Olarerin and Jax Borknight, that are looking to stay high. There's the trap already, look, from Olarerin and Borknight.
And finally, Essex can now get their offense off and running. But fantastic suffocating defense from the Rockets, who now settle into a 3-2 zone, well, a broken 3-2 zone, now going to a man. Here is Wal Cummings. Wal Cummings gets fouled, and the foul is on the floor. It was a kind of a defense from Reading that almost looked like a 3-2 zone, then switched to a man, then back to a zone again almost. But it probably was a man.
Well,
it probably was a zone.
It's a little bit of a mix. It looked like to me a matchup zone. That's where you're doing exactly what you just said. You're in a zone, but what you don't do is just defend a space. You have to still follow people around.
Well, there's a block there from Olarerin on the layup attempt from Winter. Here is Borknight. We'll come back to you in a minute as Creek loses control and he is fouled. Back to you again, Charlie. Sorry.
Yeah, no. I was just going to say the only difference in a matchup zone is you have to follow your players around a little bit more than you do in a normal standard zone where you just defend a space. And ultimately, you're just trying to keep the smaller people away from the rim, and you're trying to keep the bigger people under the basket.
Cooper Creek to the line for the Rockets. He's had a fantastic first half. He got a little bit quiet in the second, but he's only added 3 points here in this second half, but now moves on to 4. But as mentioned, a really good first half, particularly in the first quarter, had 7 points and really shot the ball well, especially attacking the basket.
And even adding on top of that, you've got 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and a block. What a game from Creek.
Olarerin muscling his way through, and there is Creek on the follow.
He heard you, Johnny, stepping it up.
And Reading's press is really causing Essex all kinds of problems as Malik Bryant went into the front row there behind the basket. And again, Olarerin inside, another brilliant play, and it forces Joe Hart into a timeout, and Essex really struggling to even get the ball in bounds.
Yeah, and this is exactly what we said at the top of the fourth quarter. What neither team wants is the other team to go on a run. Because if the Essex Rebels had brought this to a single-digit game, that puts all the pressure on the Reading Rockets. However, it's the Reading Rockets with a 7-0 run, and now the Rebels have to make a gigantic comeback, and they've only really been trying to score around 14 points, 15 points per quarter, and now they need to do that and more to try and get back into this game, and I think it might be a little too much out of reach.
Well, it's still a long way to go. Let's, not take anything away from the Rebels. We haven't even played 2 minutes of the fourth period. However, if Reading keep this defensive intensity up, especially not allowing the Rebels to even get the ball in bounds, that's why Joe Hart's called the timeout. He's just trying to calm his players down and just trying to introduce something new, really, because right now what's happening is it's just not working.
I'd also expect them to maybe look to try and trap the ball a little bit more and try and force turnovers, because they need to try and score at a quicker rate.
Well, as I said, they outscored Reading 14-9 in the third period, but Semet Nurizadeh has stepped up his tactics and the players have responded. As the Rockets have a 63-48 lead, and again, look, 3 Reading players swarming. And finally, Essex can get the ball up court. Here is Winter. Child. Wal Cummings. Goes to the basket. Here is Hudson. Hudson the floater. No. Rebounded Borknight. Rebels shooting 37% from the field in this contest. Conversely, Reading dropping below 50. They're now at 48. Borknight putting the moves on Johnson Thompson. 3 to shoot. Bryant puts it up. Bryant strings it.
And that is a big shot for Reading after a pretty rough offense. And they weren't able to get the shot they wanted, but Malik Bryant, what a way to end the shot clock and hit a big 3 off one bounce.
Biggest lead of the game for the Aldermore Reading Rockets. Here is Child. 7 to shoot. Child turns it over. Borknight Borknight. Olarerin to the rack, gets it.
And Olarerin not only with the finish, but what a defensive possession that was for him. Managing to tip the pass with really good technical defense. And now Reading break out with it.
20-point lead. Child, Johnson, Thompson. Winter on the catch and shoot. Much needed score for the Rebels.
Yes, and a big shot from Winter. They are going to have to keep pumping them up there to try and get a larger total than they have been scoring in the previous quarters.
Chamberlain. Borknight, 8 to shoot. Here is Olarerin, gets the flow to go.
That's a really tough shot from Olarerin, and it's a bit of a soul crusher for the Rebels, but if they can make a couple of big plays after a couple of big stops, then they won't be losing all faith.
Johnson Thompson misses the three.
Reading doing a really good job of denying the players like we spoke about in the third quarter. Johnson Thompson had no one to pass to because of it and is forced to take a shot that's not necessarily the most comfortable one for his range.
Well, it's something that he does like to do, but he only shoots 20% from range this season. Here is Borknight, 5 to shoot. Johnson Thompson on him like a rash. Borknight kicks it out. Bryant got to get busy. Bryant misses everything.
Yeah, Borknight's just got a little bit stuck in the last couple of possessions. He's doing the right thing, though. He's managed to force a bigger defender to switch onto him, and he's trying to play in 1v1. That's a good thing, because you've got to try and attack the right kind of matchups. And he, in the end, did find an open Malik Bryant, who just couldn't get that one to go.
Temalola coming back into the game for the Rebels. Here is Winter, Child. Wal Cummings is wide open in the corner pocket on the other side. Now comes out. Winter, and 4 to shoot. Here is Temalola. Temalola muscling and hustling his way in. Doesn't get it to fall, though. Here is Borknight to Portman. Olarerin. Dancing with Johnson Thompson. Gets him up in the air, but loses control of the ball. And here is Winter. Winter lobbed up to Temalola. Temalola blocked by Creek. Ball is loose, it goes out of bounds, and it will go to the Rebels. Again, Cooper Creek with great defense under the basket.
Yeah, absolutely. A lovely little fake from Ben Winter as we just see the players walk to their timeout. Lovely little fake, and then drive left to go all the way to the basket, but just wasn't quite on the same page as Temalola as he throws it up. But the big man didn't quite realize what was going on, and by the time he caught it, it was a little too late.
However, so far so good for the Aldermore Reading Rockets, as they have blitzed, they've ambushed Essex in this fourth period, 14-3. And as a result, have a 70-51 cushion with 4:54 to play, as we have a look at some of the highlights of what has been a second half that's gone both ways. Essex have had the better of proceedings in the third period, but Reading have come roaring back and have truly lifted off here in Loddon Valley, and they have a very commanding 19-point advantage. But for Essex, it's a case of, just don't give up, just keep playing, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you. It's also the fact that Reading's press has just stopped the Essex Rebels from being able to play any kind of offense. So the best opportunities Essex Rebels have been when Rockets haven't scored, when they've stole the ball and got out in transition. Because when Reading do score, they have time to set up their press while the ball's being inbounded. And the Rebels, although they are starting to get the ball over the half without turning it over, it's taking up too much time, and they then are having to rush offense and take tougher shots.
Temalola again muscling his way in. He honestly was fouled there as well by Jax Borknight as he had the ball, but he just continued on. Here is Olarerin to Borknight. Creek. Bryant is wide open in the corner. Borknight. Bryant still open in the corner. Borknight goes inside, puts it up, knocks it down.
And a really nice little move from Borknight. I'd like to see the Rebels maybe look to do some trapping out of their zone just to see if they can get some breakaway transition points, because at the minute the Reading Rockets are almost 20 points ahead.
As another turnover, Child passes it out of bounds as Borknight now hits double figures, 10 points, 8 assists for January's BCB Molten Player of the Month as Remy Uda comes out. And Wal Cummings comes out and Remy Uda comes in. 4:09 to play here in the game. Borknight. Creek to Bryant. Borknight to Creek, who's open from the top. And again misses the three. And Reading 8 of 23 from downtown in this contest.
Yeah, it's a good shot for Creek to take with the rhythm he's been in. I think Nurzadeh might have just been encouraging to actually drive to the basket there, as he did have a little bit of a lane.
Child. He's been sensational today, 15 points, two assists. Here he is on the ball, and he gets another one to go, make that 17 points.
That is an elite move from Tom Child. Managed to get to his spot, fake again, step through and shoot a floater over two bigger defenders.
Olarere into Borknight. Bryant. 8 to shoot. Creek. Bryant is open. Bryant still has it. Shot clock winding down. Banks it in. Big shot, Malik Bryant.
Absolutely. Again, footwork fakes, step through, use the backboard and get it for two.
Didn't rush. Waited to get to his spot and made it count off the window. Johnson Thompson on the ball. Here is Remy Uda. Well, it will be a foot violation. He was looking to get bumped by Cooper Creek, but Cooper Creek, like a rock, almost bumped him out of bounds.
And you can see as well that when they do stop Charles from getting touches on the ball, it's very tough for the Rebels to get into their offense.
Borknight touches it out of bounds, and Essex get the ball back. .250 to play, and time certainly not on Essex's side. Winter, corner pocket. That misses everything. On the follow, though, Temalola, he misses the first, misses the second. Remy Uda fakes Borknight a three. That's good.
Yeah, good little fake, and just takes a little sidestep dribble and makes the three ball. Again, I'd like to see them throw everything at this Rockets offense and see if they can force some traps and steals and get more points in transition.
Olarere can't get that layup to fall. Essex 9 of 22 from downtown today. Here is Child. Child loses the ball. Borknight has it. It's 2-on-2. Here is Olarere into the basket.
Yep, Olarere just getting a couple of easy ones for himself.
And another steal. Bryant comes up with it. Poorman. And it's stolen back by Johnson Thompson. Temalola. Beautifully done. Patient as he goes to the basket. And a quick timeout by Samet Nurzadeh.
Yeah, I think Temalola might be one of the players I feel has had a really positive impact. Again, only 8 points to his name, but it's all the other things that he's doing. His 7 rebounds, his 3 blocks, and he's had a really positive impact. In fact, one of my favorite stats that you can see on the stat sheet, John, is a plus-minus.
Yeah.
And for the people at home, what that means is if the game was only when that player was on the court, then what would the end result be? And Temilola's played 18 minutes and 23 seconds, and his plus-minus will be 9 after the stats have updated, so it'll be +9. That means when he's been on the court, they have actually won the game by that amount of points. So that proves to me that he's been the impact player of this one for the Essex Rebels, even though, of course, Winter and Child have been the standouts in terms of scoring.
The only player that has a a positive in the index rating is Ben Winter, who has a +20. Everyone else is in the well, 2 players are in the minuses, everyone else is in single figures. So it just shows how good Ben Winter has played today, especially in the absence of Miles Brown.
Absolutely, and I also think with Tom Child as well, he'd have a positive one, but since they've started to deny him and stop his catches, his turnovers have now gone up to 8, and that will really be hurting his index score. Otherwise, he could be up to about 13, 15, and that would really show actually how good he's been. But the way the Reading have defended in the second half has just really forced him into some forced errors.
But it's all about what's on the score graphic, and right now Reading have a 16-point advantage with under 2 to play, and they look set to go joint top again in just a few minutes, along with the Newcastle Knights. Those 2 teams will meet on March the 21st here on a Saturday night in Loddon Valley, as Malik Bryant going to the basket, gets fouled, he'll go to the line.
Yeah, good drive from Malik Bryant. He's actually a right-handed player that loves to drive left and just manages to muscle his way to the rim, feels some contact. And the second you feel that contact, please, young players, shoot the ball. Because the amount of times you see a player get fouled and then keep the ball in 2 hands. No, if you get fouled when you're driving to the basket, you must finish the play no matter what.
Yusuf Saleh coming back into the game. Jack Borknight takes a seat. And what a week it will be. It'll be the 1 week where it'll be a top-of-the-table clash. You assume they'll still be top by March 21st between the Rockets and Newcastle. And then the week after that, it's the inaugural BCB Trophy final, the first BCB Trophy to be decided in Nottingham as the City of Birmingham Rockets take on the Yorkshire Dragons. What a day that'll be. As Winter goes to the basket, doesn't get it to fall. And here is Yusuf Saleh. Saleh kicks it out, open Olarerin, puts it in, and that is that.
And that is the dagger to the heart of the team from Essex. What a shot from Victor Olarerin to seal the deal and boost this score up to a 20-point lead for the Reading Rockets. What a performance we've seen from him in this second half. 20 points now to his name total, on top of the 5 rebounds, assists, and 2 steals that we've seen from him throughout the game.
But Cooper Creek has his double-double as well, just a little earlier on. 16 points, 10 rebounds, 3 steals, and 3 blocks. What a performance from the Australian, with his dad Wayne here in attendance watching on.
Absolutely, a fantastic stat line for him, and as well on top of that, just the performances across the board. You've got double digits for Borknight and Pullman, and actually there was something you said in the first quarter, John, about Malik Bryant coming off the bench. Yeah. And I think it's a key message that I see a lot of junior players sometimes really desperate to start games, but yes, of course, that's something that can be quite cool and quite enjoyable, but actually it's about the impact that you make. Malik Bryant has played more minutes than all of the starters bar 2. Why? Because they found a new role for him. He comes off the bench, they see what they need him to do, whether it's a certain kind of defense, certain type of play they want to run for him, and his job is to make the impact that he has today.
And that's something that Victor Olarerin did last season. Came off the bench for the majority, second half of the season, started a couple of games, and now a regular starter this season as Winter has the ball. Child right in the corner, along with the 3, as Reading bring James Waterhouse into the game for the first time. Here he is on the ball.
Yeah, but Matthew Daines and Malachi Hassan-Taylor as well. 3 younger players on the court for Reading here. You love to see it.
Of course, taking nothing away from the other 2 as well. Here is Saleh. Saleh using his footwork, and he is fouled. He'll go to the line.
Yeah, just decides to play his man 1v1 and try and just force him into defending him on the drive. Of course, that's something you want to do when you've got a bigger player switched onto you. And now with just 24.5 seconds left, you imagine there might only be 1 more offense in this one, as the Rebels will have 1 more go at trying to put the ball in the basket.
Of course, it's another good positive to see youngsters like Matthew Daines and James Waterhouse, Malachi Hassan-Taylor getting good minutes, you know, late in the 4th quarter, just gaining more experience, as of course they represent Reading Rockets in the EABL for HSS. As Temalola doesn't get the friendly bounce, and that'll do it. Reading Rockets go joint top again with the Newcastle Knights. And they bounce back from defeat to the Worthing Thunder last week with a win over a Miles Brownless Essex Rebels, who really did bring the fight to the hosts today. But Reading, with too much depth, too much quality within their lineup, getting the win here as they remain unbeaten at home in the league this season. And a great performance. We spoke about Cooper Creek, a double-double, 16 points, 10 rebounds. Victor Olorerin actually with 19 points and 5 rebounds and 2 steals, leading the way for the Rockets. Jax Borknight an assist shy of a double-double, 10 points and 9 assists. But for the Rebels, Ben Winter has 16 points. Tom Child leading the way with 17 points. And a good performance today from the Aldermore Reading Rockets, going joint top once again alongside the Newcastle Knights. March 21st on a Saturday night here at the Valley will certainly be a fantastic occasion, as Charlie accidentally knocks my microphone off. I'm now back on. And he's going to head downstairs in just a second to get a chat with some of the Rockets players. And Cooper Creek, 16 points, 10 assists, gets MVP honors today. But congratulations to the Aldermore Reading Rockets. Commiserations to the Essex Rebels. A very spirited display despite being short-handed here today. But they get an 80-60 victory over the Rebels here at Loddon Valley. And through a plethora of kids and everyone jumping on the floor to play, Charlie is courtside with the MVP of today's game, Cooper Creek. And in just a moment, we will hear from the big Australian.
Yeah, all right, guys, I'm here with Cooper Creek, as we got some young fans here trying to get. He'll sign your ball in a minute, guys, don't worry. So, Cooper, of course, big win. It was a close game in the first half, and then you've managed to pull away in the second half. What changed in the second half for you guys?
I think honestly, the start of the third quarter, for most of the fourth quarter, we found it a little tough to get going, but it forced us to knuckle down a bit, and we had to dig in and show a bit of pride. And I think for a good amount of that fourth quarter, we did that, especially. I think they got to within 8, late stage of the third quarter, but we knuckled down. We just fought. It wasn't perfect. As you get, Salmon's always going to let us know about that for sure, which is his job, and we're going to make sure we do a better job of holding each other accountable. But at the end of the day, we did what we needed to do. We tried to keep elevating our game and end up in a win in the end, which is good. So we can't complain too much with that. We'll enjoy it, but still we've got plenty to learn.
And of course, Child and Winter were very good today, I thought, at the guard spot. You did a great job of limiting what they were able to bring in the second half, but in the first half especially, I thought they were a great job. What did you do to try and take them out of the game?
I think we just challenged. We had to honestly take a bit more. We just took the guards, took a bit more pride in it, and we got to say, hey, we just got to be better. Really, at the end of the day, there's no real magical spell. At the end of the day, you got to show up and play. And we played a little bit more zone in the second half for sure, but I think they also missed some shots too. We've got to give them credit. They were great players, especially Child, who was getting in and around. No, I think we played a lot better defensively in the second half.
And just finally, of course, you had your dad here today, and you've got a lot of people here from Reading supporting you. What was it like to have your dad watch? And just to finish, a quick message to the Reading fans.
It was pretty cool to have him here. Like I said, I had no idea he was coming, and he was popped out of the blue yesterday morning. I was just hopping out of bed, so I was like, right, that was pretty cool.
Amazing.
That was pretty cool. Like, I mean, just getting to be able to just obviously share the experience. It's pretty wicked. And then obviously to the Reading fans, obviously great to have them all down here. It was always loud and proud, and it was always a great privilege to be able to play and represent this community, man. So it's great.
Amazing. Cooper, thank you very much. Guys, we're going to have a very quick interview with head coach Samit Nurizadeh as I frantically look around to try and find him. There we go. He's heading over to us now. As we have Matt Johnson, of all people, being my go-getter. And even better than that, look at the fashion statement we've got here from Coach Samit. A wonderful cap as he heads over. Coach Samit, congratulations. What a great win in the end. The second half, the boys really came alive. What changed?
We were defensively poor, and we had to press a little bit, and then which has worked out. I'm glad we've been working on it, and our zone, it's a matchup zone. It did all right. I'm opening too many secrets here.
Well, yeah, we're very clear about your opinions from up there as well.
Yes.
Don't worry. Really impressive performance, we thought, from the guards of Essex Rebels. Obviously, they're missing a few key players, but we felt that Winter and Child really stepped up.
They are a good play. They've been in this league for a long, long time. They are players. They are bowlers. So the big guys as well. They did very well, and I think they were missing a key player they have, and where you can't help anymore, where they have outside player, but they're bowlers. They step up. They play well.
And just to finish, an MVP performance from Cooper Creek. That was a really impressive performance. What's your thoughts on how Cooper performed and just his progression as well throughout the season?
Yeah. We are working on a few other stuff, not just shooting. The closer to the basket, driving, dishing, and so on. I think it's coming along, and I'm glad that he's done what he's done.
Amazing, Coach Samit. Thank you very much. And guys, that is all for us today. Of course, great to hear from MVP Cooper Creek and from head coach Samit Nurizadeh. What a game we had, an impressive, really aggressive performance from Essex in the first half, and they managed to see it out. Well did the Reading Rockets. So thank you very much for joining us, and we very much look forward to seeing you at the next game.